Hi. Okay, you're currently invisible and also muted, so I think you need to unmute yourself. Hello?
Does consciousness influence quantum mechanics? Is the other way around.
Do you hear this?
Mechanics...
I hear a man, or somebody who has a deep voice at any rate. Can't hear you. Hang on. You're not muted, I don't think. And there is sound because I just heard some other sound.
Does quantum immortality...
Hello! I can hear you now.
Something, having computer trouble, 1 moment.
That's all right. Ah, it's you.
Okay, can I hear you?
I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah.
That was totally traumatizing, that whole browser tabs. It turns out that my YouTube playlist has just been playing this whole time, and that's one of the reasons that my computer's been very slow.
Oh no, I understand.
And that's so painful.
I'm sorry.
And it's so physically consequential.
Oh.
The whole time. And I didn't know.
Oh no.
But I had really enjoyable video tests earlier, and when you became available to chat, I didn't know how much of the process my brain would be up for, but then I found these questions, and all I have to do is ask a question.
Yay.
So
fantastic.
I'm sorting myself out, and it's recording automatically, and the YouTube playlist is no longer playing.
Excellent. It's nice to see you. Honestly, I was feeling really unsocial when I got on Telegram, and now we're on here. I'm like, hi.
How are things going in your neck of the woods as regards the novel coronavirus?
Oh well, here in London, we're supposed to stay in unless we have to go out for something essential. So all the places like cafes and restaurants have shut, but the supermarkets and places like that are still open. Basically, everyone's staying inside as much as they can.
Are you rather more or less isolated than usual before?
I'm a little bit more isolated because I don't have to go to the shops every day. My usual practice was to go and buy food every day so that I wouldn't binge, but I've been having more food in the house at a time to not give people potential coronavirus, and I'm actually really enjoying not having to be among people for that little bit of time every day. So like, I'm fine. I feel guilty for being so fine because the entire world around me. Okay, backtracking for those who are possibly joining us, I don't like to socialize. So for me, self-isolation is like Tuesday. And I feel kind of guilty because the world around me, like the neurotypical world, is suddenly desperate to connect and saying all the things that you've been saying all along about how like we desperately need to be in community. And I'm like, I'm fine. But obviously I do want everyone to get their needs met, and I'm delighted that people appear to be reaching out and meeting each other's needs, although it's kind of interesting that it took literally getting the entire population sick to do that. But isn't it? Anyone would think that bugs were useful eventually in very traumatic and eventual ways.
Can you correct me if I'm wrong? It seems to me that you have functional community resources that support you in certain reliable ways so that you can maintain a certain equilibrium without having to interrupt your isolation.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm using words in the right way about this, but maybe you are getting my gist and you can help me by making your words about it.
Yes, I do. I have a girlfriend and a best friend in America who are like the two people that I will talk to. and so I'm not literally completely alone in terms of long distance interaction. I'm able-bodied, so if I want to do something for myself, I can just do it. And I'm semi-able-brained. I'm autistic. I have trouble holding down a proper job, but I can work from home to an extent. So I can make money through the capitalist money system to an extent. And go on.
Oh, sorry, my brain just crashed.
It's okay, take your time.
It seems to me that we have talked about the ways in which your experiences have often been a bridge between the kinds of people who can do some able-bodied things and can move in groups of people in certain ways. No, my brain is totally crashing. I'm just gonna abandon it. Goodbye. Goodbye the thought that I had. It wouldn't occupy my brain.
That's
but
okay.
I had questions, like for the reason of not having to operate the brain.
Okay, that's very sensible.
I was trying to say something useful about when people don't talk about it, what is it they're not talking about? And when people do talk about it, isn't it weird how they're missing people who have been trying to raise information and awareness about all of these things. So like now there are a lot of people talking about the coronavirus in terms of the need for community and all of that. But they're still missing the people who have been talking about it because their lives are at the point of, well, I'm thinking of bladed weapons, but I don't want to get detailed. It's a terrible experience to be forced to talk about it all the time. And now it is a much greater subject of conversation for a lot more people because of the coronavirus. Our need to be helping one another and our need to have certain ways of getting reliable social needs or physical survival needs met. That even though there's all of this new talk going on about it, they seem to be inventing it from nothing. And in the meantime, there are people with real solutions whose situations are really extreme and they're not getting through anywhere. They're not being connected anywhere. So there was something about what you were saying in the last few minutes of me rambling that brought that up for me. And it was good practice. It was good practice to say the words. Good thing my other Wi-Fi is off. EMF.
Oh.
What do you think of all that?
Well, I think you're right.
Did I communicate?
You communicated brilliantly, yes. Yes, I think you're right. I think there's some unintentional disableism going on here, in that the efforts that are currently happening are mostly directed at abled people and sort of sweet elderly people who are just old, rather than people who've been disabled all along.
It seems that, no, my brain just crashed again. I wonder if it's the EMF overexposure. It feels like it's the EMF a lot of the time. It feels like, aha, I've spent too long leaning my head into the EMF field of the Wi-Fi signal that is broadcasting this video, and it like goes, and everything's gone. I'm like, ow, that hurts and that hurts. But it's predictable.
You know, you have a big field of, there's a lot of space in the frame that you're in on the camera.
So you could, oh, please continue.
You could move a couple of feet further away from the window and still be visible.
Do you mean toward the computer, or?
When you were talking about EMF, it seemed like it was on the window side of you from like your movements.
It's coming from here.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind that then.
There are power lines, however, This is the biggest difference, though. The computer with the Wi-Fi, and then I often have to double or triple check that I've turned off the Wi-Fi on the. There's a phone device here, and also this phone device, like it got a software update, and now it has additional radios on that are not turned off when I turn off the Wi-Fi and the data and the 2G. So there was the 1G. I don't know why Twitter and Facebook and some other things are allowed to update if I've turned off all of the radios I can turn off. So I don't know what's going on there.
Probably they've paid some money to some people so they can do that.
It's a person. It's changing as a person, and we're getting to know one another.
Oh, that's a lovely way of looking at it.
That
Sounded overly... Yes, that sounded... I was sounding weird about that, but never mind.
I don't know where we were, but...
No, I know where we were.
Okay.
Okay, we were talking about the unintentional, and I do think it is unintentional and innocent, disableism of the coronavirus community movement.
I do agree that it's unintentional and innocent. Are those the words you used? Yes. Yes, I agree.
I've been noticing that it's okay if it's because of coronavirus, I think is the message. So for instance, if last month I couldn't make enough money to feed myself because I'm autistic, I should work harder. If this month I can't make enough money to feed myself because of the coronavirus, somebody wants to help me. But actually it's secretly still because I'm autistic.
Thank you so much for getting on this call with me, because I didn't know how it would go. But we have such a history with all this stuff that I'm feeling relaxed enough to laugh, to just
Fantastic.
like have my reactions to whatever and not worry that someone will take offense. Like either I'll share the recording or I won't share the recording. But the person that I'm talking to already knows like a whole bunch of stuff. See, neurons grew back from the last 3 times
neurons.
I died. But some of this stuff is so funny, but it's horrible to call it funny. And I don't want to be laughing about it. And we have been going through some things without anyone noticing. And so, I mean, I guess we have public documentation that we did this stuff and that we were talking about these things and that we said, why doesn't anyone hear us? Why is no one responding? What's really going on here? And then coronavirus.
I really appreciate your coronavirus jazz hands. And I think
do I have jazz hands?
Yeah, you went like razzle dazzle style coronavirus. I can't do it because like there's no space, but yeah. But I think that you have the right to laugh about this, because I think if you belong to an oppressed group, you have the right to laugh about
and
the
I better
experience.
Because my body will die if I don't learn how to laugh again in a way that is not, I'm so nervous, I'm terrorized for my life, I've actually been being tortured to death, ha ha ha, that's really funny, that kind of laugh is very painful. Shared experience, shared meaning, health effects.